Eric the Turf Teacher Jones. Oh, yeah! Teaching you life lessons, business strategies, and leadership.
Let's grow together.
Hey everyone, Turf Teacher here. I just wanted to share a segment of a webinar that I conducted on April 21st, 2022 with a group of landscape contractors who were taking the course to earn one business credit. The title of the course was The Business Plan, and I introduced a concept to the contractors that my accountant is trying to get us to move in a direction where we have companies within the company. So tell me what you think. Leave comments on the video, and always hit that subscribe button and then click the little bell so that you know every time the Turf Teacher puts up a new video. Take a listen and let me know what you think.
You know, the business plan is a part of your business that you need to write. I have my students at the college write one for their chosen horticulture profession as if they were going to be self-employed. Not all of them will become self-employed. That's not a lot of my students' dreams, to be honest with you. They're looking more for the 9 to 5, which, you know, in the green industry, we know that's reversed. We're actually 5 to 9. So, and it takes a lot of them, you know, a good bit of them, it takes a while to get used to that. I mean, we are early risers and we do work late. I mean, yeah, it's 7 o'clock and you guys are still working, getting your Con Ed. And so when we talk about business plan, we talk about, you know, the future, we talk about which route we want to go, but we also talk about how we are operating our business. And my accountant, love him to death. I dread the day that he retires completely. He's already retired. He's turned in his license. So he's not a practicing CPA himself, but as soon as he retired, he went to work part-time for another CPA, and that has since turned into full-time employment for him. And so we went with him to the new company. And he's able to get some time off and stuff, but, you know, 78 years old and the guy still works, you know, 5-6 days a week. And then here recently, they've even been working on Sundays just because tax season was, you know, just this week. And so one of the advice that he's given me as running our business, and I haven't implemented it 100%. But I see exactly what he's talking about. And I did a class on April 9th in Winston-Salem, you know, a face-to-face class. And I had a gentleman there that was from the Lake Norman area. And, you know, he kind of raised his hand. He said, dang, Eric, we must have the exact same accountants. But, you know, we didn't. But he's running the business just like that. And like I said, we haven't implemented it, but we are trying. We are trying. And so what we call this is the business within the business, or businesses within the business. Does anybody kind of want to take a guess at what I'm talking about there?
Record keeping.
It is record keeping, yes. Keeping books separate for each segment of the business. So if you have a lawn care division, and you have a installation division, and if you have a hardscape division, so let's say you're running three major divisions within your company, each one of those segments needs to have their own books, and they need to have everything separate. Now, there are going to be times when you use the same equipment, you may use the same trucks. How could we actually separate that?
By mileage.
Yeah, you could separate it by mileage. But what is another way that we could, and I'm sorry, the phone keeps ringing off the hook back there. You think the answer machine would pick it up. But what's another way that we could legally separate that even further? we've got separate books. We're tracking the mileage. But what is another way? Let's say, because we've already got 3 businesses there. We've already got 3 separate books that we're keeping. What's another way that we can even further break that down? And my accountant, he told me this. He said, Eric, you need to have an employee leasing or an employee agency, that all of your workers are employed by this employment agency that you own yourself, that you actually provide employment to your landscape business. He also told me that you need to have an equipment leasing business, that you can lease the equipment to your business. So when we start adding that up, we're like, well, that's 5 separate companies right there. And technically it is. But what type of protection does that offer me as a business owner if I did set my business up like that? I know it's extra work. I know it's extra. I know it's a lot of extra headaches. Maybe it's a headache. Maybe it's not.
In case of a lawsuit, it takes more for them to go through to get to you. So
Yes.
you use up all your assets before they take everything you have.
Exactly. You're 100% right. Your landscape company, the one that's out there working for the clients, who gets their employees from the employee leasing agency, the employment agency, and rents their equipment from a leasing company, owns no assets. And so, just like you said, Chris, the lawsuit could wipe us out. It takes one bad lawsuit and we're all out of business. But the lawyers can only go after what the company owns. So let's say, and this has happened to a guy that's been in these classes. He comes to my face-to-face class every early on to get his credits. And this happened on the day after Thanksgiving. Not he himself, but he had 2 employees that were in the same vehicle, were involved in a motor vehicular crash. It wasn't their fault. They were actually hit by another landscape company. And unfortunately, one of his employees died instantly on the scene. And the other one, now this was back in January when we held that class, they were in the wreck the day after Thanksgiving. His other employee was still in intensive care, where he was still fighting for his life. And he said, Eric, I'm not going to lie. He said, the attorneys came in and wreaked havoc through our bookkeeping. And he says, luckily, I have every T crossed and every I dotted. They couldn't find anything. He says, even though it was not our fault, he said the other attorneys, the other party side, were trying to find anything wrong with us so that they could get the money, so that they could get out of, paying their portion of the situation. So it doesn't matter if it's your fault or not. They're still going to come after you. And so in this case, if his landscape company, who was leasing a truck, and their employees were from an employment agency, the landscape company that's out there doing the work owns no assets. And so if they did come after them, they can only get what the landscape company owns. And so everybody's like, well, that's just too much paperwork. That's too much everything. But if you've got someone in your office that's handling that, if you're using a payroll service, it's going to be fairly easy to do that. And each segment or each company within the company will pay their portion of payroll that week. They'll submit it. They'll pay their dues to the employee agency. They will pay their portion of the trucks, their portion of the equipment to the leasing company to cover the cost. And I asked him, I said, well, dude, are you running them as C corporations? You run them as corporations? He said, everything is set up as an LLC. Why did he choose to set everything up as an LLC? What advantage does that give us as business owners? Same way as an S corporation, but why did his accountant want him to set everything up as the LLCs? What tax advantage does that give him?
It goes through his personal stuff once you get through it all.
Yes. So he's getting like 6 different checks, small payroll checks that he's getting from each of the companies, which, pays his day-to-day bills, his personal bill. And then at the end of the year, he can take a bonus, which gets that money out of the companies. And paying it as a bonus gets you out of paying what? What type of tax?
Withholding.
Yes. That can be a big chunk, right? It saves that amount of money with the bonus. And so he's like, Eric, I'm able to collect on what we're doing. And he said it's been smooth sailing so far. Now, how can this also benefit us as we become older in our careers? Like, I'm fully white right here, man. Like, I am grayed out to the max because of this business. One day I might wake up and say, you know what? I'm done. How can this help me? Let's say I've got somebody knocking on my door wanting that lawn care portion of the business. What can I easily do because it's its own separate books?
Could lease your own employees to them without having the headache of everything.
That, or even better, what can I receive from them and me just hand them?
You could sell off that portion readily.
Exactly. Get rid of it. Like, here's the books. Here's everything. Here's what we spent in payroll. Here's what we spent in leasing the equipment. All they're wanting is that customer list anyway. And here you go, chunk of change. I'm semi-retired at that point. And I could sell off the other 2 sections very easily to someone else if I wanted to. But it makes a way of getting out of the business a whole lot easier. And when you write a business plan and you go to the bank, if you're needing financing from the bank, traditionally we're borrowing money from, the truck dealerships if we need a new truck, or we're, using Sheffield Financial or whatever if we need to purchase new equipment. But if you take this business plan in there, the one thing that they want to see is an exit strategy. And so having that exit strategy, hey, I've got this portion of my business. When I decide to start slowing down, I'm going to start chunking it away. Everything is easy to sell off. Same thing with the equipment. You could sell off all the equipment in one lump sum and totally walk away from it. So, and my good friend Tony Bass, what does he say about running a landscape business? He said the only reason we should start and operate a landscape business is to do with it what one day? Sell it. Walk away from it. Take the money from it. How many of y'all have kids?
Yeah.
I got 5. Not one of them wants anything to do with it. Nothing. They want no part of it. They want no part of the green industry. And I'm okay with that. I'm A-okay with that. So I don't have to worry about, 2 of them working or 1 of them working and the other 4 getting mad. So we'll be able to sell it one day and just kind of fade it into the wind, as we say. So this is kind of what this lecture is about. And I want you guys to tell me how, you guys are running your business, or are y'all running it mainly as LLCs, C corporations, S corporations? How are y'all running it?
I'm LLC.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably LLC. So yeah, like I said, a majority of green industry businesses are run as LLC. It gives us the best of both worlds of running it as a corporation or being able to, the biggest thing is that tax, how we pay our taxes. We can elect to pay ourselves as a sole proprietor or as that corporation. So it gives us that choice at the end of the year.
Eric the Turf Teacher Jones. Oh, yeah! Teaching you life lessons, business strategies, and leadership.
Let's grow together.